I had to make a mimosa today and had to Google how to make it.
Stop it.
What?
Like the proportions of it.
Oh, I'm very good at
Just
proportions.
champagne, orange juice.
Orange juice. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but
No, microphone size champagne.
Yes.
Top of the microphone.
Orange juice.
Orange juice. Like Salt Bay.
Like you don't like it can't be orange. Like the drink can't look orange. It just has a hint of orangeness.
It has to look like a mango cart beer,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like a tinge of orange.
Also, a girl ordered a martini, and I was like, man, I have no idea what that is. So I had to Google that too.
What type of martini?
Vodka in
Like
a glass and put
gin.
an olive in.
Like a dirty martini with gin?
She just said gin martini.
Oh, yeah.
So I did gin and our martini. I think the bottle that said martini on it, and then that was it.
You just throw an olive in, and I think you're done.
I couldn't find the olives.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, Birds vs. Boys. Happy birthday to us. Welcome to episode 68. We wish was episode 69. It's our 1-year anniversary. Happy birthday episode to Birds vs. Boys. Aidan. God, it feels good. Has it really been a year?
We made it 1 year and didn't get canceled.
Let's
what a
go.
fantastic feeling. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday. I got you something.
You did?
I did. I got you a birthday
Good, but I
present.
didn't get you anything.
That's okay. You want me to open it, though, since we're not together?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay,
please.
I'll
You can
take
open
this.
it now.
For anyone listening, this is the tissue paper that I'm taking out of the box. I got you stateside vodka.
Look at that. You got me stateside vodka. How convenient.
Right? I was like, you know what? What else would Aidan want? Nothing. What is better than getting stateside vodka on your birthday?
I'm a big believer in just getting some alcohol for your birthday. You're going to celebrate with it anyways, and you can't beat getting the stateside vodka kind.
Happy birthday to us. We didn't think, I mean, we probably should have poured some stateside out tonight for ourselves, but
We still have time.
we do have time. We have a jam-packed show. Obviously, it's not only our birthday, but
You know, I'm often
training
asked
camps are here.
if we ever see more than one predator show up at the same time in the same investigation, and the answer is yes. It's happened on a few occasions where
What
two
is this?
people have come at the same time. Apparently, it's happening again. Aidan, Kevin, Chris Hansen here of Hansen versus Predators. To catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen, I'm going to need you two to have a seat right over there. We've been going through some transcripts, and I have some questions and some concerns. You know, the two of you should know this, but we're still at the tail end of a pandemic. There's this Delta strain floating around. You're still supposed to be socially responsible, not running around town after going online, checking for the newest hot spots that are open, visiting different places, celebrating your 1-year anniversary. 1-year anniversary, is that what you call it? Also, what's this confusion about you thinking that I was Scott Hansen? He's the sports guy for NFL Red Zone. I'm the predator catcher. Don't confuse them again, or you could end up in a dark kitchen being interrogated by me. So behave yourself. And if you can manage that, Vince and I would like to congratulate you on your 1-year anniversary. Awesome news. Maybe you can celebrate with a Mike's Hard Lemonade or a White Claw on me. White Claw is what we use in the current Predator investigations, and I'll have more of those for you soon on the TV. And right now on my YouTube channel, have a seat with Chris Hansen. Don't be in them, just watch them. In the meantime, I'll be watching you. So stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful anniversary celebration. Take care.
So does he think like Aidan and I are a couple?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I may or may not have forgot to mention It wasn't like I said. It's Aidan and Kevin's 1 year anniversary, and I may not have specified what it was for.
You didn't think the part that it was a podcast was important? Like he didn't
No, I
think he was
kind of
gonna get
forgot.
confused.
I
That he
think
might
part of-
think that we're just a couple.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we kind of are.
I mean, I think part of me was like, "Oh, he'll remember us," and then I think I just like
the
he
dude
doesn't
catches
even-
like 8,000 predators a year, including one major person from Philadelphia. And you think he's going to remember us?
Who did he catch from Philadelphia?
Didn't he catch EDP?
Yeah,
Oh my god, he's not from Philadelphia,
Or wherever he's from.
but he is. Yeah, he is the Eagles guy. Hold on, I thought that it was so funny because right before the show, I go, I wish we would have prepped so that we all got a cameo for each other
Yes,
for
and
the
you-
1 year anniversary. And Vince stayed silent the entire time. I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a great idea. And here he was
With a
Chris
cameo.
Scott Hansen.
We got to
That
get
was
him on the show.
fantastic.
We got to
I
get him
think
on
at
the
this
show.
point, yeah.
I pulled a sneaky on you guys and made you think I forgot.
Look at you. You didn't break.
That
Yeah,
was great.
you
that
you
was-
Vince
made up.
never forgets.
You made up for not having a party hat.
Well, I couldn't give it away. I had to keep the ruse up that I'd
Yes.
forgotten.
I mean,
Very well done by you.
I texted Eddie the cameo when I got it, and I was like, "Yeah, May have forgot to mention that they're not dating." And so this was a few days ago, and today he texted me. He was like, "Good move."
please, while we're recording this, just text that to the Brandy group and say, "Happy anniversary to the couple, Kevin and Aidan."
I'm on it. See you guys at the end of the show.
I loved so much about that. One that we had him back on, who's been in our intro since the beginning, because it was the first episodes when we were talking about. I really hope we have football this year with this
Yes.
COVID thing, so I could watch Chris Hansen when I meant Scott Hansen. So he's been on almost this entire time as our intro. Glad to have him back. Love that he was like, "You have a White Claw on me," because that's what we use in my show, and find my show on YouTube.
I was about to be like, or stateside vodka.
Yeah, in the edit, post production edit, we'll just like bleep it out and put in a stateside
Stateside
vodka
vodka.
on me.
This hat is really hurting my head. Not gonna lie, it has like
How I
Teeth?
should you can. Yeah, it looks painful. I didn't have one, but I do have this.
happy birthday, New Year anniversary thing, everybody. Wow, that just
me-
brought the party.
Kevin and Chris Hansen.
Scott Hansen.
Got it.
Oh, all right. I think we got to get actually into the show. I'm going to take my birthday hat off. So we do have a guest tonight. You discovered this guy, and then he blew up completely, like 2 days later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was famous before. He had a
Yeah.
blue check mark. It just so happened that he got even more famous right after I discovered him. So tonight we have Michael Gehlken from Dallas Morning News. He covers the Cowboys down there. Boots on the ground in Dallas. He is at training camp right now, reporting live from out in Oxnard. He recently wrote a long article on Micah Parsons, including interviews from Micah and people in his past, detailing his journey from my hometown Harrisburg to the Dallas Cowboys. So we wanted to talk to him about that. And then obviously Kevin would like to pepper him with questions about how it's going so far for the Cowboys out in training camp, 8 days away from an actual game. So I think he's a fantastic guest to have on tonight. And we told you it's going to be a jam-packed show. We got a lot to get to.
We do. We have our TikTok as always at the end, but I wanted to start with something before we even get into your Eagles talk. Did you hear? I saw the tweets that were like from like 10 hours ago. We are recording Wednesday night, but I saw it like right before I got on. I was like, "Ooh, Vince." Did you see a big name that was cut today already out of camp?
Blake Bortles.
Yes, but not who I'm thinking of. Vince, could you pull up on the screen the man that was cut today? Kelvin Benjamin, who is a former wide receiver, now tight end for the New York Giants, has already been released. There's a video we have playing of him walking off of the practice facility today. Vince had no idea that Kelvin Benjamin was on the Giants. Did you?
I did. I'm going to be honest. I did not keep up with that. I knew
Okay.
he was still in the league, but
Well, the story gets a little bit better. Would you like to know why he got cut?
I think you need to be careful about where you go and where you're getting your sources, because I saw a tweet and I don't think it's real.
I saw it by more than one.
Okay, pull it up then. We'll see.
So you did. So you knew that he got cut?
I saw this and I saw the tweet, but I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's a real account.
It was not just his account though.
If it's from another account, then I believe it.
Here, hold on. Yeah, no, it wasn't just his. Who's pull up NFL _ DOV Kleinman. Yeah, that one right there. He has a blue check mark. The top one.
And he said,
look, click on that picture. No, on the picture.
After a heated argument, video surveillance footage showed Benjamin had been stealing food from the facility to take home. Is that a thing?
I don't
thought you
know.
just got the food.
That's what I would think.
I thought they just gave it to you. What else are they going to do with the food? Like, you can't just take it home?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if this guy actually tweeted that or if it was doctored.
If it was tweeted and deleted. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That is a really weird
but yeah, if it's
a really weird scenario. I didn't know he was still in the league. No. He
was not last year. Came back. This was the first. He had just been signed this offseason to play tight end, not even wide receiver. So, not going to lie, if he's not on the Giants, it's fine by me. I don't care how he got cut. I don't care if he, sneezed on Joe Judge and Joe Judge was like, nope, COVID, you're gone. I don't care. I just don't, he's a big body that could help them, and now he can't.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. Not on my radar, especially with the start of Eagles camp today, and you guys have been in full swing. Do you want to go first with the Cowboys? Because I know you have big news there.
Yeah, so
I don't really have big news aside from the fact that we started.
Well, the biggest news in the league, actually, is something that you and I have been saying all offseason, and is exactly why we were so bored with this story that everyone was enamored with. Oh, surprise, surprise. Aaron Rodgers is at camp, and he's going to play for the Green Bay Packers this year. No shit.
Listen, he does what I do every single day, which is bitch about my job and then show up and do the job. That's it. I complain every fucking day
for a little bit more money
I
than
hate
you
my
probably
job.
make.
Yeah, I was about to say part of the reason why I don't like my job is because if I was making his type of money, I'd be smiling, sunshine, and rainbows every time I showed up for work. But anyway, he does the same shit that every millennial does. They're pissed about their job. They don't like it. They bitch and moan all the way to work and then go in there and do a full 8 hours and do it with a smile on their face and then get off and complain about how miserable they are. He's not unlike any of us.
I could care less about this story all summer. Either could you. I knew this was the end. He wasn't going to go play for the Broncos. Now, next year's a whole different story. I am terrified of an NFC East with Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers playing for the Washington, whatever they're going to be called next year. But that's a different story. We knew he was going to be playing for Green Bay this year. There was just nothing else going on for the media. So it was either let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys or Aaron Rodgers, and that was it. Or COVID.
At least we have actual storylines now. We don't have to talk about that stuff anymore. It's great. There's actual football to be discussed. So it's great.
During actual football today for the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott took himself out of camp early, saying he had a sore arm. And now sources right before the show are saying that an MRI revealed that he has a muscle strain in his shoulder. Don't love that. Don't know, he's going to be evaluated each day. He's day to day. He's obviously coming off the leg injury. He's going to be a little rusty. So I wanted to get him as much work as possible in camp. Because, how much work do you think, let's say he didn't get the arm. How many snaps do you think he's really going to get this in the preseason? Not a lot.
I wouldn't want him to have a lot.
No.
I'd try to keep him off the field as much as possible.
Exactly. So this is why I wanted him to get as many snaps as possible in camp. Because you got to remember too, CeeDee Lamb only played with Dak for what? 3 games? 3.5 games? And then he had Andy Dalton last year. So, who knows how much of a rapport they have. They have a full offseason. I just will obviously ask Michael about this a little bit. But it's just, not a storyline you want to hear this early in camp from your star that's coming back off an injury anyway.
No, probably not, considering it's like day 4, but also not shocking considering I always think when you're coming back from injuries like that, then you put more pressure on every other muscle group that wasn't injured.
Yep.
So that's how you're probably throwing with your arms instead of your lower body because you don't have full strength back in your lower body. So you overcompensate. Happens to people at the gym all the time. Like if you're struggling with chest, guess what happens? Then you hurt your shoulder.
Yep.
It's just that's how it works. So it's probably what happened. He hurt his shoulder because he's overcompensating for using his legs. So it's not shocking, but at the same time, yeah, I don't really want my quarterback to get hurt on day 4.
No, especially today being the first day in actual pads for the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, he had 3 interceptions yesterday. Didn't love that either, but who knows? Maybe this had an effect on him and his arm was hurting him yesterday. And that's why he was throwing a little bit not so great. Or, the Dallas Cowboys defense, baby. Have you heard the secondary has a new nickname?
Is it the no-fly zone? Did I see that?
Not the no-fly. It's sort of like the no-fly zone. It came from Boss Man Fat.
I will let you say it.
Airplane mode.
I did see. Yeah, that's what I thought. I like that better. That's more creative.
You know what? I kind of dig it. So
So do I.
I'm gonna put my phone on airplane mode, just for Boss Man Fat. Never using my phone again unless I'm on Wi-Fi.
You should try it during games. It's great. Because that's what I do.
You and Kelvin Joseph are the same person during games.
Yeah, airplane mode, baby.
But yeah, they had 3 interceptions yesterday off Dak. KZ had 1. He was not having a great couple days in camp until then. And speaking of safeties, Dallas Cowboys have signed another free agent. Obviously, they brought in Demontre KZ earlier in the offseason. They brought in Malik Hooker at the same time for a workout. They decided to go with KZ, but Malik Hooker has found his way. Jerry got his hooker. And it was a weird week. I don't know if you realize like how it unfolded. Like the reports were like Malik Hooker was going to Oxnard to work out for the Cowboys. And then it kind of like went silent. Everyone's like, is he signing? What's happening? And then Jerry Jones was on 105.3 The Fan, and they're like, so like how official? He's like, oh yeah, no, it's pretty official. Happy about Malik. And everyone's like, what? So he's out, and then out of nowhere, he's walking onto the practice field wearing a number 28 jersey. And then yesterday, just bang, he had signed. He got through all the COVID protocols, and he was on the sideline watching the safeties work out on Tuesday. And I switched it to you about Darian Thompson hopefully going away. But that's really pretty much everything I'm going to talk about now because we have Michael Gehlken obviously coming up. But I'm just so excited about camp. That's why I just want to talk all Dallas Cowboys and not listen to you talk about the Eagles.
I'll talk about the Eagles, but I think you'll be excited with where I'm going with the Eagles. One, speaking of secondaries, we didn't get to touch on this. Last week, I was like, oh, there's only one free agent we want, and Steve Nelson, and we got him. We have a legitimate secondary now. I'm kind of content, which I'm like really never content with how the secondary is.
Yep.
So I'm pretty pleased that we got him, and we have a legitimate CB2, and it's not Jaquette getting cooked by Amari Cooper again. That's kind of cool. They're real.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, for you, it's not great.
But
yeah. So I think that's the main like actual talking point that we need to bring up that's legitimate. And then I'll get into all the goofy stuff. The Eagles are back, day 1 of training camp. And there are 2 things that come back this time of year. And it's Spirit of Halloween stores showing up in abandoned storefronts and tweets saying that the Eagles are going to win the division because their receivers catch a pass in practice wearing shorts. It's that time of year. Those 2 things pop up this time every year at this time of year. So glad to be back with the hype train.
We're back, baby.
We're back, baby.
Back. You're back on the regular revenge tour.
I am. Kind of. I think I almost have to be. You know, sometimes you know more about the stock market than me, but sometimes you just can't sell. There's no point in selling. You're kind of just stuck with the asset.
You just got to ride it.
You just got to ride it out. I think that's where I'm kind of at with it. I'm obviously more in on Devontae Smith, but I think Gregor would be better than he was last year. It's nice to have someone who's like coaching up the receivers. And I saw some tweets. These are the tweets that I actually like. Sirianni pulling guys aside and being like, coaching up Fulgham and being animated and saying, here, idiot, do this. Don't do it this way. Do it this way. Okay, good job. You did it right. Like, that's the type of stuff that I like to see, which seems to be happening.
Did you see the prediction about Fulgham this year coming out of the Philadelphia media?
No.
That he's going to have a Elliott Shore Park or Park Shore. He said that Fulgham's going to have a 1,000-yard receiving season this year.
Oh, kiss of death. Poor guy. I really liked Fulgham. It's sad that he's going to get cut by week 3.
And he's cut.
Yeah. That is a kiss of death. I honestly feel bad for him. Anybody like Travis, I was so high on him. Why would you do this?
At least do it to Gregor or something, not Travis.
I know. Yeah. Gregor would be even more bold. But yes, I am back. That's why that was my main point, though. I don't care about training camp. I do not care about this hype train. I am a broken man mentally and emotionally, and it has nothing to do with life. It's just Philadelphia sports have ruined me as a person. I have become so cynical. I don't care about training camp videos. I don't care about training camp. I've seen Jalen Reagor get compared to Julio Jones. I watched Sam Bradford go 11 for 11 in a preseason game. I just don't care. I cannot do this again where I emotionally invest myself only to be let down. I just can't do it. I do not care what Devontae Smith does. As long as he stays healthy, I'll be fine. I do not care how Jalen Hurts looks in shorts. He looks cool. I will give him that, but I need to see him in a game. I just don't care. I'm emotionally broken. The Sixers broke me when they blew that 25-point lead. There's no coming back. There's no training camp video that can get me excited.
Not even a little bit?
I'm excited for the prospect of them playing football, but I'm not going to watch these videos anymore and be like, you know what? This year's our year. I think just keep expectations low.
Yep.
And then I'll be pleasantly surprised.
How many wide receivers on the Eagles this year have more receiving yards than Deshaun out in LA?
Deshaun will only play like 12 games.
Exactly.
So might be skewed. Smith and hopefully Fulgham.
Okay. You don't think Gregor?
I don't know. I'm excited about the prospect of Gregor, and I'm really excited about him as a punt returner as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The only thing that's going to skew it is, Deshaun. He'll play great. He'll have 120 yards week 1 and then strain his hamstring and miss 4 straight weeks.
Yep.
I really don't know.
One other question for you too. What are your thoughts now that the reports are coming out that they think Ertz is going to be still on the team week 1?
First of all, love the blonde hair. Love the teenage rebellious phase that he's going through right now. Looks great. Love it. In 3rd grade, I wanted to get my hair dyed because Eminem had his hair dyed blonde. Didn't do it. Also,
I had the blonde tips back in middle school.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I thought he had a picture of me.
But I was just about to say Vince just pulled up a picture on screen of Ertz, and I thought it was going to be of Kevin. The fact that Chris Hansen cameo would not have been the most surprising thing of this episode was really saying something.
There's definitely a picture of me somewhere on the internet with blonde hair.
We will find it. We will definitely do some research and find it.
Might be on my Instagram or my Facebook. Not sure.
Had some blonde tips. You definitely had that. There's
no doubt. 100%.
That's the least surprising thing that's ever happened. But yeah. So Ertz as a person, like, I don't know why we would keep him around, and he doesn't want to be around. But I guess he's here, so we'll just get used to it. I like him, so I don't care if he's here or not. So
yeah.
I hope he has a great season. I hope he is a great asset for Jalen Hurts. And I love the blonde hair.
Love it.
Big year for the dyed blonde hair. The Machine Gun Kelly switching to like pop punk instead of rap, and the album was awesome. And now Zach Ertz, maybe he'll just like revitalize his career like Machine Gun Kelly did. All you have to do is dye your hair blonde. If that happens, one of us might have to dye our hair blonde to make this podcast take the next level.
Okay. I'm in.
Fair enough.
Boom. I'm always in.
There we go.
All right. Do you want to bring our guy in?
Let's do it. I think it is time. We have fantastic guests for the 1-year anniversary here. This time last year, we were talking about training camp won't be the same. Football, will we even have it? Now we have a guy who's literally on the field every day covering practice, Michael Gehlken of the Dallas Morning News. And again, he just wrote this huge story that's been blowing up on Micah Parsons as well. You know how we feel about Micah, both of us. So we'll get into both of those things. So here he is, Michael Gehlken of the Dallas Morning News, presented by Stateside Vodka.
I may ask him 47 questions. All right, Aidan, like you brought him in, really excited to be joined by our next guest on our 1-year anniversary show. So it's a very special show that you're on here. Live from Cowboys camp in Oxnard, California. He covers America's team for the Dallas Morning News. It's the one and only Michael Gehlken. Michael, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Happy anniversary. I had no idea.
Right?
Would have brought you something.
We had like party hats and everything beforehand, but we figured, we don't need those on for now.
Don't let me interrupt your celebration.
Not at all. Well, I'll be peppering you with a lot of questions, but to start out, everybody knows that Jerry and the Cowboys don't do anything half-assed. So everything's a show. So far, I mean, today was day 5 of practice. How has Cowboys camp been so far with COVID protocols and Hard Knocks being there?
Yeah, Hard Knocks hasn't really changed things at all. They take pride in just kind of being, a fly on the wall. They really have this like Veritas type of approach to, being true documentary filmmakers. So, aside from seeing the occasional producer or other crew member at the breakfast line at the hotel, they're not very talkative. They don't really attract much attention. They kind of just film and record audio and mic up different players going into practices. There is, some spectacle, as you said, with the Cowboys. They had like this opening ceremony with, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and a 10,000 check that Jerry Jones wrote out and gave to the mayor of Oxnard, which is very, kind of the rite of passage. It's every year, COVID aside. There are, signs that warn fans upon entry that, COVID will kill you. It's serious. Your advice, take all protocols, and even then, those safeguards might not save you. So enter at your own risk. It's not our fault. Don't sue us when your family member dies. So that's that. But otherwise, I mean, it's outdoors. It's California. I know the protocols are evolving. Just recently, I think today, the California Public Health, I don't know the exact name of the body within the state, but they said that they're starting to advise even those who are vaccinated in California to wear a mask if indoors. So things are changing, but when you are at practice, it doesn't really feel necessarily like we're in this COVID state, which no doubt it's worth reminding everyone we need our
100%.
Sure.
Oh, I like to hear that about Hard Knocks. I really do. I love watching the show, but just be a fly on the wall. Don't bother my team. Love that.
He's been really worried about that, so he's glad to hear it. I'll let him get back into the training camp questions. I know he has a lot, but I want to focus on your Micah Parsons story for a second. It was an excellent piece, and I was pretty curious how much of his story you knew going into writing it and interviewing him, and if any of it kind of took you aback, because there were some pretty intense anecdotes in that story.
Yeah, I think some of it I knew just because he was this 5-star prospect coming out of Harrisburg. He was very active in social media, for better and for worse, over his high school and even college career. Just someone who, through his recruitment, through his transfer from Central Dauphin High to Harrisburg High, a lot had been written on Micah Parsons. And once I really start going into the article, in terms of research and arriving in Harrisburg for the story, I went to his hometown. Did I kind of start to peel back and, some of that research? You almost want to not do too much research when you're going into an article, because you want to kind of have a fresh, set of eyes. You don't want to get caught duplicating what's already been done. And so there's always that balance. But I knew some of what I picked up in Harrisburg about Micah already, but I think it kind of starts to come to life once you start to talk to his family, start talking to his friends, and former coaches. He's kind of start hearing the same things. And like the two things I heard most about Micah in Harrisburg was, number one, he's extremely competitive. And then number two, he's goofy. His dad called him like a Toys R Us kid. And so I wanted to kind of capture those two things by not telling, but by showing. And so by having different anecdotes that instead of me as a writer just saying, hey, Micah's really competitive and just move on to the next thing, or hey, Michael's a goofy guy and just move on to the next thing. If I can spend a lot of time describing, instances where his competitiveness really shows, then it's a lot more impactful for the reader to be like, damn, Micah Parsons is really competitive, or Micah's really goofy. And so that was kind of what I was going for in the story. And so I was very grateful for his time. He signed his contract in June, I think. And hours later, he met with me and we talked for like an hour and 45 minutes.
It's awesome.
So it was a good opportunity for him to be, I think, introspective and just kind of reflect on his journey thus far. He struck me as a guy who, it probably says enough that he was talking to me on the day he signed his contract. It wasn't like he was going to Nobu and having some incredible sushi dinner or whatever else people do when they've just signed a multi-million-dollar contract. So he was very much of the mindset that he was not done yet, that he had a lot that he was chasing, and on the field, obviously he wants to be great. That's what he's chasing. But he says, I don't really need football in terms of I really want to make a difference in people's lives. That's extremely important to me. And when you go to Harrisburg and get a feel for what Micah means to that town, certainly in certain neighborhoods, probably more so than others. I'm talking about kids in Uptown or in Capitol Hill. You get a really sense of that significance that he has to that area.
Definitely. It certainly feels that way being there. I'm glad you got a chance to go. And that timing worked out perfectly. You get to talk to him the day he signs his contract. And then I think he bought his mom a house shortly after your article came out. So timing wise, this could not have worked out any better after you kind of worked on family values with him.
He bought himself a house that his mom's living in. And his one of his best friends living there too. But he bought a house, and his number one thing was, to give some stability to their lives after bouncing around from place to place for a while in high school. Here's Micah, this 5-star prospect, and he's living with his grandmother at the grandmother's house, sharing a room with his mother, sharing a bed. Her clothes, all her stuff was all over the bedroom, and so Micah's barely got any room, and he's not ashamed of the fact that he shared a bed and as a high schooler with his mother, because his mother's his best friend. But still, it was cramped living, and he really wanted his mom, who worked 3 jobs, to just have a place to just be. And so, in some ways, it's no doubt for her, but it's Micah's house, and she's living there.
That's great. I didn't know that part. That's interesting.
I love
that. I haven't seen the lease line, or I haven't seen the contract of the house, but it's their house collectively, I guess is what I'm saying.
Love that.
Gotcha. Everyone's got their own bedroom now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So you touched on it already, and we talked about it before the show began, or the interview began, about his high school transfer. I was curious, did you guys talk at all about his process with his college commitment? Because that was a big story as well, and that was a big part of the journey too.
We didn't. His dad mentioned that if it wasn't for his dad, really expressed that he felt like his son easily could have gone to Ohio State had things gone differently in his recruitment because of I know Micah sent a tweet in reference to the quarterback play that was not well received, and then there was an on-campus violation of recruitment policy because I think it was a college game day show. I didn't really get into all of that. You really go down into the weeds when you do a story on someone's life, and so you kind of need to decide what you are and are not going to do. So I didn't get it caught up too deeply into the recruitment aspect of it, because at this point, he went to Penn State. He found his way to the Dallas Cowboys. I'm less curious about what road he could have taken from a college standpoint, and more just about the road that he took overall through Uptown, through Harrisburg, into the NFL. So I didn't quite go deep into that.
Gotcha. All right. One more question on the story before I let Kevin go at it with the training camp questions. And Kevin and I are like bloggers and podcasters, so we can get away with playing fan favorites and being biased. Do you ever catch yourself, like Dallas Morning News is obviously more revered and well respected. Do you ever catch yourself kind of like playing favorites after writing a story like that? Maybe not even necessarily this one, but with somebody else that you've covered.
I mean, I definitely want to see guys stay healthy. I mean, that's about as far as I go. I mean, I hate to see a guy, rupture his Achilles or tear his ACL or anything other that's really serious. But not really. I mean, there's really a pretty. I think I've always just kind of tried to separate. I understand as a reporter, I never want to get accused by an athlete as like trying to get too close or thinking I'm one of them or anything like that. I understand the discrepancies of our respective lives, at least from a professional standpoint, and I want to try to keep it professional. You definitely can't help but garner some respect for those that you cover, and so that is the case with various athletes. I think the one thing I do appreciate, and a story like the one on Micah, I think kind of underscores is just how different so many guys' route is to the NFL. Like my favorite part of the job is a part of the job I don't have right now, which is the locker room. I love to be in an NFL locker room, nudity aside. It's just a great place to just interact with so many different people who come from so many different walks. They're different. Their personalities are different. Just their stories are so distinct. And as a reporter, you want to try to build a rapport with a player so that they feel like they can trust you. I mean, and they feel like they can communicate openly with you, and feel like you're not going to burn them if they say something that could be received in a way that they wasn't consistent with how they intended it. And so they trust you with their messaging. It's all that. And so I enjoy building that trust, and you really don't get an opportunity to do it right now because of COVID. But hopefully over the course of a story like this, I see it as an opportunity to kind of show who I am, who I am as a reporter, what I'm about. And, by going to your hometown, talking to your mom, talking to your dad, talking to your sister, talking to, your best friends, and going through all of that, hopefully over the course of that, they come to trust me. So for future, years to come, as we work together, they understand that there's, someone on the beat, and I wouldn't be the only one, because there are a lot of really good reporters on the Cowboys beat, but I'd be someone that they could trust with their story down the road as it develops over the course of their career. So that's, if I have an objective, it's that, just to build the trust. But beyond that, that's about as far as I'm willing to take it.
Gotcha. Love that. All right. Let me pepper you with a few, and then we'll let you get out of there. Right. So two guys that I've been saying all off season, I think need to play at a Pro Bowl caliber, if you want to say type level, for the Cowboys to be successful this year, especially on defense, is Randy Gregory and Trayvon Diggs. Everything I'm hearing is they've been quote unquote taking over practices. Is that true? How have they looked? Have they been standing out in your eyes at all through practice 5 so far?
Yeah, I think both those players have had nice camps. Randy Gregory, I mean, Paz just came on as we talked on Wednesday, and so their hours removed from their very first padded practice. So I think over the, as camp progresses, you have a better feel for any player, including those two. But Randy Gregory looks explosive at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's a problem. He believes that he should have played more last season, and when you look at his production in limited snaps, you look at Alton Smith's production, you look at some of these other players who saw a lot of snaps, it's really hard to disagree. And so I think, no doubt, with this new coaching staff, Dan Quinn and Aidan, the new defensive line coach, that shouldn't happen again, especially because Randy Gregory has a full offseason under him, which is something that he hasn't really had since he was an NFL rookie. So, he's looked really good, and as long as he can stay healthy, he should be someone that the Cowboys, or another team, but you think it would be the Cowboys, is going to be paying a lot of money to. If he goes into the season without a new deal, which at this point, he should just play on his contract, and he definitely should, to be in good financial situation after next March. Trayvon Diggs, his ball skills are I mean, they've always have been the strength of his, and that
Mm-hmm.
has shown through here in training camp. You know, he looks better than he did last year. You expect him to take that next step, but I think I'm just hesitant because I understand how important of a player he is, and the level he'll need to play to really give this defense what it needs. And turnovers is a big part of that, but also big plays and containing that and everything that is associated with his role in this defense. A lot of man-to-man, and so I think let's allow the jury to kind of still deliberate
Mm-hmm.
on not just those two players, but this entire defense. Tuesday's practice, they had 3 interceptions, all against Dak Prescott. Also batted at least 3 balls at the line of scrimmage against the reserve quarterbacks. Here on Wednesday, with Dak out on account of shoulder issue, the defense intercepted 5 passes, which is incredible. It's a camp high for this year. But watching those interceptions, it was a greater indictment on this backup quarterback situation. And so I don't mean to undercut the success that the Cowboys defense is having, but I would say it was more impressive what they did on Tuesday than it wasn't what they did Wednesday, just because of who's behind center right now when Dak's not there. So I think let's just allow this thing to take shape a bit. Last thing you want to be is too reactive to, occasional positive play or positive practice. This defense has a lot to prove, and they can only prove so much at this early stage.
So I'm going to ask you that question. Why is Ben DiNucci? No, I'm just kidding. So you mentioned Dan Quinn, and I was very excited with the addition. And obviously the Cowboys organization has been selling that, that was such a huge, almost free agent pickup for them as well this offseason, that he was going to be able to transform what was a historically bad defense last year. So has his teaching skills kind of shown to light? I see all these videos coming out with him on the sideline with Parsons and with Gregory before and after practice, and I'd love to see it. Has that kind of been coming to light, and have you noticed that a lot this camp so far?
Yeah, guys love playing for him already. They love his teaching style. You can see why he rose to the ranks and became a head coach, and it would be a bit of a surprise if he doesn't do it again in terms of being a head coach in this league. His hands-on teaching style is what you kind of keep on hearing when you talk to players. He's just very hands-on. He's, as a defensive coordinator, he's really operates in some fashion as a defensive line coach as well. And so during the position drills early in practice, he's less roaming the whole defense, but more so just working specifically with that position group. And he's got, pads on his hands, and he's doing hand work with guys. And, he's just really in the trenches with these guys. I mean, there was a practice in May. There's a rookie mini camp. There's about 30 players on the Cowboys roster. So not a whole lot when you're conducting 11-11. And so one of the team's rookies, 6th-round pick, Quinton Bohanna, he has like an aching shoulder. He misses like maybe 2 plays. Mm-hmm. But they don't really have a nose tackle who can just jump on in. And so in comes Dan Quinn, and he gets in his stance, and, he kind of tries to relive his glory days. And so the way that he kind of just goes about things, and he tries to find creative ways, I think as any great teacher does, forget coaching, but I think just in a classroom setting, he tries to find a creative way to get his message across. For visual learners, for auditory learners, you can just tell that there's a higher level of thinking in terms of the way he approaches it with guys. And so early in training camp, I think the day after the Cowboys arrived, he, in a defensive meeting, played a Run DMC song, and I wrote about an article about it. You might have seen it. Mm-hmm. But he played a Run DMC song, and prior to the song beginning, he said, I'm a New Jersey guy, and I'm going to talk 100 words a minute, and you guys need to learn how to take notes properly if you want to keep up with me and learn this defense, because we got, Tom Brady in, 40 whatever days, so we need to learn this thing fast, and you guys need to keep pace. And so the lesson as he played this Run DMC song for 3+ minutes was, don't just try to write, you're taking notes to this song, but don't just try to take notes of every lyric that you hear, because that's, you're going to fall behind. You're not really going to understand the message. So just kind of process the song, write more thematically what the takeaway is. And then after the song concludes, we'll see how much we've got written and have it like be something of a competition. And I think the most the guy wrote was like 2 sentences, which is, it's a tough song to do in terms of like, Absolutely. It's not like really one of those classic storytelling songs. It's more like, early hip hop where it's about how you're the best MC, and there's all that, all
a lot of words,
MCs and all that. Yeah. So, but like, I think that's just an example of his coaching style, and like DeMonte Casey, the safety who was in Atlanta with him, was now with the Cowboys. Talked about how, Casey wasn't speaking enough. He wasn't communicating enough as one should in the back end of a defense. And so so Dan Quinn mic'd him up for a practice. And this is something Dan Quinn has done a number of times with other players. He mic'd him up at practice. And then at the end of the practice week, they went back, listened to the entire practice through Casey's, speech, and really were able to kind of nitpick, like, hey, you should be talking here, you should be talking there, you should be talking there, which is a lot more. You're talking about how showing and not telling, like with the Micah Parsons story. Like, you don't just want to tell a guy with what you tell a reader or tell a player. You kind of want to show them, so make sure that it lands a little bit more. And that's what Dan Quinn does.
That makes me so happy. Makes me beyond happy after last year. All right, I have two more questions, and we'll let you go. Switching to the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, last year the offensive line struggled, especially with the injuries, and I kept saying this isn't 2016 anymore. But both tackles, Tyron and Lyle, are back, hopefully healthy. So, one, how have they looked so far holding up against guys like Randy Gregory that we talked about? And do you think this is a make or break year for a guy like Conor Mcgovern?
Oh, first, the two tackles look incredible, and it's always the test of time, right? It's one thing to look incredible in July, but ultimately, and they do, but ultimately, can they stay healthy? And that's an answer that we don't have. But they can only control what they can control. They're both in phenomenal shape. They both underwent surgeries on some lingering issues for them. Tyron Smith, the neck, Lyle Collins, the hip. Those weren't things that really they've dealt with for the first time last year when Tyron missed 14 of 16 games and Lyle missed every last one. These were things that have been plaguing them for quite a while. And Tyron hopes that he can actually, he's missed at least 3 games for a handful of consecutive seasons. He hopes that this can kind of put him over the hump and keep him on the field, which obviously the Cowboys share that desire. And for Lyle, he just feels like he can play more comfortable out there. So, here in camp, you see everything that you would want to if you're the Cowboys and both those players, which gives you a lot of hope, however guarded that optimism may be, because, they've been hurt before.
Yep.
The Cowboys, but obviously the players have been too. But and then Conor McGovern, you can't help but empathize for his career development, where he steps in, as a 3rd round pick. He has a pec issue in the spring, sidelines him, and then he's got another pec issue right when he finally returns late in training camp, and then that sidelines him for the entirety of his rookie season. So that was a wash. In comes 2020, and all of that year's lunacy, and so he doesn't have a spring again. He has a truncated training camp, 0 preseason, and then ultimately he develops on the practice field and gets thrown into the fire and starts, seeing some snaps. And then now, finally, here in 2021, he was active in the spring and he was healthy throughout. He's thus far in training camp, not only just healthy, but he's working with the ones whenever a guard is unavailable. And so he and Brandon Knight really are seeing a lot of that work, but more so McGovern. If one guard is down, that's where he steps in. And so, I think the book on Conor McGovern when he got drafted is that this is someone that potentially could be a backup center. But when the Cowboys really look at their offensive line, they really look at Conor McGovern in particular. They consider him to be their best backup interior offensive lineman, and he's just kind of still scratching the surface of him as a professional, just because of all the time developmentally that he's missed. So they want him focusing at guard right now, which is why you have left guard Connor Williams cross-training to be a center. So in the event of an injury to the center, the Cowboys aren't going to ask Conor McGovern to do something he's not comfortable in. They want to set him up for success. And so they're going to have Connor Williams slide over from left guard to center, and then your best interior offensive lineman will step in at left guard for Williams. So that's kind of been the situation, and Conor McGovern's done a really nice job of embracing that. Again, no pads, so we'll see. But thus far, the Cowboys are really pleased with the leap that he's made. He's come a long, long way.
Beautiful, because he's a guy I've been rooting for from day one when he was drafted. All right, last one, big elephant in the room. Obviously, you mentioned Dak took himself out of practice today. It was shoulder soreness, and now the MRI comes out that he has a strained muscle in his shoulder. Is there any buzz out there that we don't know about? Are people worried, not worried? Should we just take it day by day like the Cowboys are?
I would say that's the way to do it. Yeah. Everything I've heard is everything the Cowboys have said publicly, which is, there's relief. They feel like, well, I think this practice that they had without Dak was very eye-opening. Not to say that they felt great about their backup quarterback situation, because I think there was understanding that, Andy Dalton is no longer on this roster, and his absence is really felt. And that's kind of a unique thing to have someone of Dalton's experience and ability. I know he gets criticized, and by no means is he, Tom Brady, but as backup quarterbacks go, Andy Dalton started for a number of teams last year. They don't have Dalton this year, not by a long shot. And I think Wednesday's practice without Dak was a reminder of that. But otherwise, they're relieved. Otherwise, they feel grateful for their situation. Yeah, Dak, they consider to be totally fine. And hopefully, as training camp continues and over the course of, these next 6+ weeks before September 9th against the Buccaneers, like any pitcher, at spring training, you kind of need to build yourself up. And so he'll build himself to where he needs to be. Dallas is not concerned about his ability to get there.
Beautiful. All right, Michael, before we let you out of here, let everybody know where they can read your work, how they can follow you on Twitter and anywhere else in social media.
Sure. It's I write for the Dallas Morning News, and the Twitter feed is Gehlken NFL. That's my last name with those 3 letters.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Perfect.
Well, enjoy the rest of the time at camp. We'll be reading everything you write. Thank you for coming on, and we're definitely going to have you on again during the season for sure.
My pleasure, guys. Yeah, let me know. Have a great
Awesome.
one.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.
Wow, Aidan, what another just phenomenal interview. Could he have been more informative?
That was the best in-depth look we've gotten at what it's like covering a team. We've obviously had a lot of media members on this show, but not a lot of them are always in the locker room on a day-to-day basis. And I know he mentioned no nudity in the locker rooms right now because of COVID, but still boots on the ground at training camp, reporting on the team, flying to Harrisburg to meet with Micah personally, talk for 90 minutes with some of these players when he covers them and does a story on them. It's that's the best look of what we've got. And just like the anecdotes about Dan Quinn, like the Run DMC thing, I love that. But those are the things you get when you talk to somebody who's covering the team on a day-to-day basis and is around the team
and does the work of all the national media guys.
Yeah, I was about to say he's really just like that centralized focus on one team, following them day in and day out, and he obviously does a fantastic job. The article that I read was very well written, and you could just tell in the interview very early on. I think we both picked up that he really was informative and knew his stuff.
Yep. That's what sports media is, not going on ESPN and just screaming for 2 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did we ever get away from that where we just hit him with all those questions? Every single one was in extensive answer with plenty of detail, made us laugh, like all that stuff. And I don't know where we went wrong with sports media, but can we please just go back to that?
Bring it on back.
Bring it on back.
Bring it on back. All right. Well, you know what we're going to bring back right now?
TikTok. And also Vince.
Get in here, Vince. Hi. It's a lot of hair.
I know, it's too much. I gotta get a haircut. It's so hard to schedule between doing nothing and then more doing nothing.
I buy one chain and Vince alphas me and buys like 4, like he's Lil Baby on the Rolling Loud stage.
Am I supposed to bring like chains out?
Yeah, you got to bring your chains out. It's the cool thing.
I'll tell you what, I was on the fence about getting one, then I saw yours and I was like, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get little cool things that go on the chain.
On the girl guy rating scale of attractiveness, coolness, would I date this guy? Gold chain gives you an automatic 2.
Run DMC.
Absolutely.
Yes, automatic +2. So now I'm up to 2.
And Vince is up to 4.
Vince is up to 4.
All right, what are we TikToking tonight?
Real quick though, the Run DMC thing. How funny is it that Dan Quinn is like, you know what these kids like? Run DMC.
Well, that's what he likes. He's like, they probably don't even know Run DMC.
They probably don't. There's some young people on that team that probably don't know Run DMC.
No idea.
No. Yeah.
Never even worn Adidas.
I was gonna say, if you're 23, you were born in 98, so you definitely weren't even weren't alive for the prime.
If for some reason at your age still you have to spell the word Adidas, do you still do all day I dream about sex in your
Never
head?
did that. I could just spell the word Adidas because it's pretty phonetic.
That wasn't a thing when you were. Oh my god, that was when we were a kid. It's supposed to be
Probably when
all
we
day
were
I dream
really
about
young.
sports, but that's
It
what
was sex
Adidas
instead.
stands for. Yeah.
Ah, got it. Yeah, I think we probably did that when we were really young.
Mm-hmm. Still
But
do
we
it.
kind I think our generation kind of missed the wave on Run DMC, but it was I loved that that concept made sense though. Where like listen to this 4-minute
Yep.
song, don't write down the lyrics, write down what these lyrics are supposed to mean.
Yes, love it.
You
I
couldn't
am
do
so
that with
much
today's rap because it
more.
would just be like, hey, yeah, they're high on Xanax. That would be the
I would have
overall
loved to
theme.
see the notes though. I would have loved to see the
Oh.
people's notes. Like writing a rhyme is tricky. He met a girl. Her hair was curly.
I'm trying to think who on the Cowboys I would like to see their note on the defense. Obviously, the most Micah.
Leighton Vander Esch.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, that's it.
He seems like his notes have to be kept private.
Yeah.
Or Jalen Smith, Mr. Me. He's like, they're rapping about me. Jalen, number 9. Did you see the video of him? He could not even do a simple task of hitting the bag the right way. They had to redo it again.
No.
Simple tasks. Can't even do it.
Can't even do it.
Just let him rush the passer and don't let him do anything else. You have enough linebackers now, okay? We have Micah and Keanu Neal and Jabril Cox.
It's so many clicks. I need to be quicker.
Cox. There it is.
There we go.
Wow, look how pale I was in the winter. Look how pale I was. Cox. Oh God, I look terrible. Look like I'm 47.
I can't even think about that. The people, I saw somebody on Instagram and they were like at Home Goods in the Halloween aisle, and I was like, I hate your personality. Why would you rush this? Why would you rush beach season? Why would you do it?
Can we real quick? I know we're going off topic here. I am a footballman, footballsman. Okay, just like you guys, and that's what Joe says. And I love the fall. I love football. I love, we've talked about this. But Joseph Papaleo, CEO Joe, I will fight you on this. He continues to say that summer stinks and fall needs to be here now. No.
I'll just fight Joe. I don't really have a topic, just in general.
Can you, when we go down to Miami, can you just like box him on the A1A? No one knows what it's for.
I didn't go to Miami.
Hey, who knows? I'm just saying if we ever went.
If we ever went to Miami for an event.
Just as a group of buds.
Maybe.
Would you fight him on the beach?
Would I fight him on the beach? No.
That's a shame.
If it were in private, I don't know. We can box. I don't know. I don't actually dislike Joe. I don't want people to get the idea that we would actually fight.
All right, let's talk and tick.
Let's talk and tick and tick and talk. Speaking of Jalen Smith rushing the passer, there are some pretty good edge rushers that are rushing the passer today. So for our TikTok tonight, we're doing top edge rushers in the NFL.
I'm sure people are going to love it.
Can't wait to hear who we leave off.
Your list already sucks, Aidan.
I know. Yep. I'm already mentally prepared for it at this point. Although, not too much flack on the last one.
No.
So it's not bad. I thought we did pretty well on the last one. All right, so we've got our normal triangle as we've done for 1 year straight. We will continue it for many years to come. I'll go first. We'll go to Kevin and then to Vince. All right, so at 5, I have Cam Jordan of the Saints. He's been really consistent, double-digit sacks in 3 of 4 seasons and 4 of the last 6 seasons. So he's been the model of consistency at defensive end.
Surprise, surprise, he's 6 for me in real life. So 5 for me is Chandler Jones. He is an absolute beast. He is down in Arizona. Now he wants a trade, and for somehow, some way, he's going to end up and finish his career winning a Super Bowl for the Patriots.
Absolutely.
5 for me. I have a collective here. I have all the Watts and the Bosas just because I can't tell them apart, and they're pretty much the same to me, so I just put them all at 5.
Okay. I respect it because the Antetokounmpos apparently have another brother in the draft this year. Who knew that they had another one? But yeah, they do. Unreal.
The Antetokounmpo factory just keeps pumping them out.
Yep.
They really do. All right. At 4, I have Zadarius Smith. This past season, he was top 5 in sacks and forced fumbles, and I think that will continue there in Green Bay. He has 26 sacks over the past 2 years, so I expect pretty much the same this year.
4 for me. I have it written down here. Vince stole my joke. I had the Bosas. I had both of them. I didn't want to take a spot away from. They're both beasts. I think Nick is coming off the injury. He's going to have a big year this year. Joey's just been balling out in San Diego and now LA. So I have the Bosas at 4. Vince, whenever you have a minute.
I'm being jumped on by animals right now. Number 4, I have Myles Garrett with the contingency that he has no weapons in his hand. It's not fair when he uses weapons, but when he's just playing football as an edge rusher, Myles Garrett, number 4.
Fair enough. All right. At 3, I have Khalil Mack. I think he sometimes gets forgotten about because he's always with a terrible offense. We'll see. Maybe Justin Fields is the future there in Chicago, and they finally have a good offense to back him up and get some more respect on his name, because I think he's almost becoming underrated because his teams get forgotten about.
3 for me, same brain again, Khalil Mack. I mean, he's played in 2 awesome jerseys too, right? The Raiders jerseys are great and the Bears jerseys are great. Both teams that you think about defense too, historically. So yeah, I'm the same way. I'm always rooting for him. He's a monster when he wants to be. And yeah, let's hope he gets to play with an actual offense that can put up some numbers.
Number 3, I have Khalil Mack. He's played in 2 really cool jerseys. He had the Raiders and the Bears, and let's hope he plays on a team with a good offense.
I hate it when we match with Vince.
Perfect triangle. All right. At 2, I have Myles Garrett. I think last year we were kind of robbed of some production from him because I know he had serious COVID issues where he was having trouble breathing. Like Vince said, he's always better when he does not have a weapon in his hand and gets himself suspended for 6 games. But I expect a huge season from Myles Garrett this year.
2 for me, Myles Garrett. That's it.
All right. I was waiting for more. 2 for me, I have Aaron Donald. You know, he's good. He's got knives. Also has a lot of weapons.
He also plays on the inside.
Yeah, as you looking at me, he's not an edge rusher, but I don't feel like thinking of a new one. So Aaron Donald's number 2.
You're going to have to put in parentheses and TikTok. We know. We know.
Yeah.
Just so
like I did with the Eagles last week. No one said anything about it just because I unapologetically was like, I'm putting him here. I don't care what you think.
I don't care. Yeah. That's
Just
what you got
that
to
good.
do with Aaron Donald.
He's just that good.
That's what you got to do. Yeah. All right. At 1, I have TJ Watt. He was the league leader in sacks last year. I think he's ascending into his prime right now. So if he led the league in sacks again, I would not be shocked. On that defense, at 1, I have TJ Watt.
At 1 for me, I have the man the Dallas Cowboys passed on and took a grown-ass man named Taco instead. TJ Watt. Should be a Dallas Cowboy.
Number 1, I don't think this is a shock to anybody. I have whoever's playing against the Bengals. So whoever they're playing has a pretty good shot at getting the Joe Burrow. They didn't take the obvious option to protect him. They didn't get any better. So number 1, exactly. Number 1, whoever is playing against the Bengals.
I really like that one, Vince. I'm disappointed in myself for not thinking of it, but that was very good.
Surprised you don't have Ed Too Tall Jones on your list. You probably don't even know who that is.
That sounds like a baseball player that wears socks up to his knees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He definitely played for the Black Sox in 1918 when they cheated on those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Vincent, thank you very much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Did what I could.
That was fun.
That's a wrap on 1 year, 365 days, 1 lap around the sun. We did it. Can't believe we're still here.
I'm still fun.
Cannot wait.
Make sure you follow us everywhere on social media. Twitter, Instagram, everywhere you find your podcasts, Apple, Google. Subscribe to our damn YouTube channel because Vince works really hard on the YouTube clips and they're phenomenal. So not only listen to us, but continue to listen to us. Also watch us, and then you get to see our cool party hats and our stateside vodka.
And this, I don't know what this is called, but the thing you blow into when it's New Year's and it makes a noise. I don't know the name, but I have one because it's our
Noisemaker.
birthday. Thanks to everybody who listened or watched or argued with us on TikTok in the past year. It's been great. It keeps growing. I cannot wait to see what this next season takes us. Hopefully our teams are a little bit better. I think that they will be, which will only lead us to going up and up. See ya for the celebration in year 2.
Go Cowboys.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is
Dude,
gone.
no.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.